Hello and welcome to Kramer's Corner with Daily Technical Update. It is Wednesday, it is the 25th of March. This video is for educational purpose only. There's no recommendation or advice whatsoever intended. It's purely to demonstrate how I use the reading the chart and try to use the technical indicators and my many years of skills and knowledge. Right, let's move on. I do apologize for this late update, but I had some very urgent arrangements here this morning, so I couldn't do it. I hope you're okay. So let's kick it off with, let's have a look what happened last night in US at what seems to be going on in at least a pre-market here. We have the oil and gas exploration sector illustrated by the ETF indicating to sit back about 1%, 178.50, sitting back a little bit there. So, and also given the fact that the oil prices are a slight bit lower, so that is, of course, we will see possibly see some profit taking there. The same picture on the energy, where it is a little bit more broad, but it's also indicated around 1% lower. Another one that is interesting to watch is actually the agri business. So the agri business, very strong bounce here yesterday and could follow through today. It is indicated slightly higher. Back above the cloud, back above 55 moving average, and the agribusiness, again, I'm not going to recommend any, but it's like, you know, the food business. It is also companies like producing machinery for the sector in farming and such. So it is basically companies like Tyson Foods, Cisco, Caterpillar, DERA, and a range of others. I'm not going to recommend any of them. It's just you can have a look at it. And finally, I want to talk about semiconductors. That is indicators here illustrated by the semiconductor ETF, the ICS ETF, or SOXX as we call it. This horizontal dashed red line there, 347, it is indicating to open up there. If it does close above today, then we have established a bullish trend back above the cloud. It actually never closed below the cloud, so it's still been fairly positive. And what is interesting, it is not really Nvidia that has been holding it up, hasn't hammered it either, but it's some of the other smaller companies. Still negative sentiment on the R side, though. It needs to close back above 60 threshold to further confirm it, but we could establish a bullish trend that could take it higher. Let's see what's going on here pre-market in the US. First of all, let's recap. Nasdaq 100 has bounced over the past, sitting back yesterday, but closed above the 23,969. We are in a bearish trend. We have this negative candle that closed below, so we are still in a bearish trend. No divergence, indicating we could see lower lows, and we also have the 55-100 moving averages slightly lower. However, today it seems like we are opening on a positive note. Here is the future Nasdaq future, currently just below the 200 moving average, still in a bearish trend, and it can still turn sour again there. But if it starts crawling back about 24,655, well, maybe there could be some room up to around 25,000, but still depressed. So be careful that you're not bottom fishing. Be very selective. S&P 500, 6,500 key strong support that should be observed. I close below. Well, then we are in possibly down here around 6,400, 6,340 something. And if it closes below the 6,500, then it is likely to move there. And I think just enough, it would be enough if it just takes out the lows there from the 20th of March at 6,473. Pre-market also a little bit higher here, trading around the 200 moving average, which is rising. So still bearish, so it needs to get back above 6,751. The Dow Jones, more or less the same picture. It's bounced strongly from this support around 45.50 here. and bounced strongly. And I think we could see it up to around 47,423, which is the 38.2 retracement. And also this spike up there, and that's what you can do, just draw it. And this is quite normal. So around that level, 47,457. Still bearish trend, negative sentiment. Could see lower levels, excuse me, in a couple of weeks, but let's see if it can establish itself there. The first is 47,457. The Russell 2000 small caps bounced strongly after being bouncing from the 200 moving average. Could bounce a little bit further. I wouldn't be surprised to see it up to the 100 moving average, just around 240. What is it? 253, possibly higher. In Asian session this morning, we saw Hang Seng that bounced off further after closing just around the 24,372. That is that low there. It spiked a little bit lower, and then it bounced the past couple of days, and now we are back up here in the kind of the neutral zone. But of course, we are still in a bearish trend: lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and lower low. Let's see where it can move to. So, and we're still below the moving averages here, up here, 55, 100, that are declining. The Nasdaq, sorry, the Nikkei, also strong bounce. It's the 50,250 that's key strong, so bouncing back here. Still negative sentiment, but we could bounce further up to around 55,000. In the European market, we have for now at least, a fairly positive day. EuroStoxx50 up about 1.6%, testing the resistance there at 5,678. So next step will be, and let me just do this, and this is the gap. The gap there is key. Can it close that, meaning closing above 5,737? Well, then there's potential higher, where we have some resistance here just around the 100 moving average. But that would be key. If it slides back, being rejected and then sliding back, well, then downtrend could resume. Moving on to the DAX index, the DAX cash there also has this gap that will be key. 23,160 first resistance, and then 23,502. So this gap area is really, really important to close to really turn around the energy and the picture really. The forex market, currency market, has been fairly muted here. Oh, sorry. Then we have the euro dollar still trading around the 50% retracement of this sell-off there. Spiking above a couple of times. Let's see what it can do. If it takes out 114.80, well, then we are likely to see 114 come under pressure once again and possibly taken out. Still in a bearish trend, but we are in a bouncing mode, and I think we could see up to 61.8 retracement there at 116.65.70. But then we have the 200 and the 100 moving average kind of putting a lid on. We have the 55 coming on there, down there. Still negative sentiment on the R side. We're still below also 50, so it could turn around once again. The sterling dollar, a lot of volatility, but it's really a broad range that it needs to break out of. First of all, 134.85 to the upside, where we have the 55 kind of putting a lid on it there. Then we have 131.95, around 132 to the downside. And I actually think we can just add it to there instead, 132 around 15. If it takes out that, then expect a move down below 131. That could be seen. So, but expect sideways range trading here for quite some time, with a slightly bullish undertone for now, a bullish correction undertone. Euro sterling, well, it needs to get take out that peak up there. You see that it was actually twice around the same, where we have the 55 moving average also coming down to the upper part of cloud above there. So 86.80, that is key to watch. If it can push above that, well, then we could see it back above the cloud, but there will be some overhead resistance with it. First of all, we have the 55, then the 200 moving average, and then we have the 100 coming down there, and there's still a negative sentiment. So I don't expect a massive move just yet. The yen pairs and dollar yen, most of them are actually caught range bound, and here do we have dollar yen 155.50, 159.85, 90 up here. So that is the range it needs to break out of for either bullish or bearish move. I do believe, and again, this is just what I read from charts, it's not a recommendation. We still have positive sentiment. We still are in a bullish trend. I think we will see higher levels. We still have 55 and 100 coming up there. So I think we'll see breakout to the upper side, but it could take some time. Euro yen also range bound. Above the cloud though, above 55 moving average. Can we get RSI back above 60 threshold? I think we will get RSI above 60 threshold, thereby going into indicating a positive sentiment. By a close above 184.80 up here at that peak, then I think we will see a bullish trend taking towards 187, 188. Aussie yen really testing this rising trend line there, but still above the minor support there on 110. And then we have 109.35, where we have the 55 moving average coming up, holding on to it. So still in a bullish trend, but it is stretched, and it's been stretched on exhaustion mode for quite some time. The sterling yen has been range bound trading, but now it seems to have another go after testing here a couple of days ago. That 213.30 positive sentiment indicating higher levels, and we are already in a bullish trend. So I think we will see sterling yen pushing higher towards 215, but could see it up to 217.18 level here. On the Aussie dollar, well, Aussie dollar sliding back. It has dipped below the support there at 69.45 40 level quite a few times. And let's see, I mean, it looks fairly heavy, but we still have the 55 moving average coming up, still positive sentiment. But I think if it really takes out these spikes down there, well, then we could have a massive take or a sell off, possibly down to around 68.75, but there could be room down to this area. But then we have the 100 moving average coming down. I'm not quite sure we will get that massive sell off, but let's see. If it bounces off here and then start pushing higher, then it needs to take out that peak there at 71.25. Dollar Canada yesterday closed above, pushed above to the 100 moving average, and now it seems like it's pushing up to the 200, very close to very few pips. I think we will at least get up to the 786 retracement there at 138.35. Positive sentiment on the RSI, indicating likely higher levels, and we can also, as you can see here, we can draw a trend line here, and we could also draw a trend line down there, but it could actually push even higher given the fact we have positive sentiment, no divergence. If it gets up here, well, then there's suddenly room higher for dollar Canada. If it slides back suddenly and back below 137, then we could see downtrend resuming, but it's not really in the cards at the moment. Let's have a look at sterling Canada. That is usually very volatile. Pushed saying goodbye to the 786 retracement here, pushing higher, and I think we'll see it up to at least the 200 moving average, possibly up to 135.60 area here with these peaks here and the lower part of the cloud. Currently, RSI is still below 60 threshold. It will be key whether it close above or not. On the Swiss franc, well, Swiss franc testing resistance there at 91.70. Having a hard time here with the 55 moving average coming down, and the cloud area needs to close above. And look at this, we also have the 60 threshold being tested there on the RSI. It really needs to close above to establish this and confirm a bullish trend. So we're just not there yet, but keep an eye on those levels there. Dollar Swiss coming up here, a bit of volatility. It's basically between 79.60 and 78, around 78.20 key support. But I think if it takes out the lows here from a few days ago at 78.30, well, then it could be pushed down to around a 78 area. Dollar index, well, dollar index currently below the rising trend line. They are trading around the 786 retracement and 98.86. I think if we take out that lows there from a few days ago at 98.66, well, then we could see it pushing even lower, maybe down to around 98 level. Then we have the 55 and 200 moving coming up, giving some support. And we also do have positive sentiment on the RSI, no divergence, so it needs to get back above 60 threshold to really support the bullish trend to continue. But we are in a bullish trend, a higher high, higher low, higher high, and higher low, and so on and so on. What will be next? That will be key. Gold, strong bounce off the 200 moving average here on Monday early morning, bouncing further. I think we'll see it up to the resistance there at 46.58.60 area, which is also 50% of that sell-off there. And if you're measuring from here, well, it's not neither here. Then we are at a 38.2 retracement. But I like that it is more like a clean trend, a clean move here. There's a little bit of jittery, a little bit of noise. So a clean one. I think we'll get up there. What will happen at that stage? Well, that will be interesting to watch. And let's just recap for what we talked about yesterday when we looked at the 1 hour chart here. You see it actually broke out of this kind of flag pattern like correction here, and then trading around a couple of times. Then it got it back above 55 moving average, turning around up to the 100 and testing from the upper side, now taking off. So that's why I think we will see up to around these areas here, just around 60, 46, 90, 47, 30 level. In this region here, we could see some resistance kicking in, and that could be even higher than these levels here. So that would be key to watch the next few days. However, if it slides back below 43.80, then a downtrend could resume. We have the silver. Silver also bounced. It didn't get all the way down to the 200 moving average, so very strong bounce. Currently trading around just below the 100 moving average. I do think that we will see that pushing higher also here in the coming days towards 78, 79. And also let's have a look at the 1 hour chart there, because that was also what we looked at yesterday. Just to recap here, so it actually got above the 70 spot 77 resistance area here, establishing a bullish trend on the short term. There's no divergence on the 1 hour RSI. A little bit of correction. I think we'll see a push up to 75, possibly higher here today, tomorrow, or something like that. So up in this region here is not unlikely. The platinum also bounced off its 200 movement, just above 200 moving average from around the 1732, bouncing strongly, has retraced 50%, but I think we will see it up to 2049, the 61.8 retracement there. I wouldn't be surprised to see that. However, we do have the 100 giving it a hard time here, and especially 55 also coming around. Copper also in a bit of a bouncing mode. Back here around the 553 area after also bouncing from the 200 moving average. Can it get away from the 100 moving average there? If it moves back above it, then I think we will see it pushing higher towards the 569, possibly 580 here then in the coming on the short term. But let's see, that will be key here to watch. And then of course, then we have to talk about crude oil. That is setting back a little bit. WTI hasn't taken out that spike down there at 84.37. If it takes it out, well, then suddenly it can find itself down here around the 76.70 area. And if it takes out that low there, 76.73, well, then it might all be over with this volatility. But I'm not sure it will. It can soon just turn around. But for now, it is sliding lower and could slide a little bit lower. Here we have Brent crude oil. If it takes out the 61.8 retracement there at 95.66, then we could see it at 89.29 with this 786 retracement. That is not unlikely. However, but again, look out for suddenly a turnaround. So really a massive move there. Also, European nat gas setting back, gap lower here this morning, key support here at 45.55, and down to the gap here just around 43.10 or something like that. But strong support in this region there. Where it could slide lower to, I'm not quite sure it will do it. If it turns around and then closes this gap here and moves back above 54.75, sorry, then we could see uptrend resuming. US nat gas sliding lower, and the US consumers should be happy about that. On the interest rate field and the yields here, US 10-year Treasury yields, correction is kicking in. We can measure the entire distance. That would be around 422. But if we have a more clean one, then we can see where it's trading here, that last leg up. Well, currently around 50%. If it takes out 430, well, then we could be looking at 428, 423. But we are still in a bullish trend, all moving average pointing to higher levels. So be careful what you do there. European yields here, EU 10-year is setting back after spiking above, moving above 3% up to 308 almost. Sitting back here, actually already pushed back below the 61.8 retracement there, 215, 295, and could sit back all the way to 292 to 786 retracement. If it moves back below the lows there at 287, well, then we have possibly established the bearish trend. So let's see. But again, I think we could still see it turning around. So it is interesting times, to say the least. The UK 10. Also a little bit of toppish. I think it could push back to the 478, possibly down to this area. I'm not quite sure it will do that. I think it will keep the stay in this bullish trend there. The Japanese 10 setting back, I think, with 221, the 61.8 retracement, maybe even the and let's just draw a horizontal line. So in this region, you can actually see it here. So in this region here, around 221 area, some support, that would be key. The on the crypto side, still in a slightly bullish trend, could push higher, but it seems to be taking some time. Same here on Ethereum. All right, that's all for today. Have a nice day and keep charting out there.